Hello again, all my little whip-cracking minions. This is Dragoness 4 coming at you. And today, I'm going to bring you another whip tutorial. We're not doing tricks today. This is going to be another bullwhip tutorial on how to make whips. And since we've already covered going big, and I've covered the two different kinds of whips that I make, the reactor whip and the wasp whip. Today we're going to go really small. And we're going to learn how to make a keychain bullwhip. Now this bullwhip is, because there's not a lot of velocity in it, because the size is reduced, where you have to reduce a certain amount of the things, and the force is reduced, so because there's less force in it, this is suitable as a pleasure whip for bedrooms and whatever. And just for a brief little bonus here, I thought I'd show you my Betty Page shirt. Betty Page red ball gag, have a ball. It's appropriate shirt for what we're going to do here. Okay, now let's get started. If you've seen my other two whips videos on how to make whips, this one is going to be a small version of the wasp whip. You can't make this with the larger size cord. So you're going to have paracord. You're not going to be able to do this with the larger cord. And what you're going to need some PVC pipe, a couple end caps, the glue for the end caps. You're going to need a door spring, but it's going to have to be cut down from the original size, and you need a smaller size door spring. It's going to have to be cut down to exactly 2 inches. You need a clip, one of these clips, because we're making a keychain. Okay, so you're either going to need a ringlet or a clip like this. This works perfect. Or you could use a carabiner clip, or if you just want to use a keychain clip, a keychain ring, or you could also do it with just a loop if you want, just a loop of cord, but I'm going to use this and show you how to make this version. You're going to need your lighter and your folder clip, your carabiner clip, your duct tape or electrical tape, or both, the side cutters, and the cutters for the PVC, or saw for a PVC. Now, alright, here's what we do. I've already cut the pipe to the length because of the fact that this, you can watch the other video to figure out how to do this, but I've already cut the pipe. I've already glued the end connectors on. I keep calling them end caps, but I keep thinking end caps, but they're more or less connectors. Okay. And I've got a new cell phone holder that I created out of Legos in the background here, so just ignore that. That's going to hold my phone in a couple minutes. Alright, you're going to need, first off, you're going to need some paracord cut to the following length. I'm putting this in the holder here so you can see what's going on. The paracord has to be cut to 62 inches. You only need one length, because we're doing this a slight bit different than our other whip tutorials. You need a fall line, which is going to be cut to 32 inches. And today we're using the paracord that's pumpkin colored, sort of. You have a tie-off line, which is going to be 12 inches. The cracker cord is only going to be 1 arm's length instead of 1.5 arm's length. And the line to tie the cords off with at the end of it is reduced also by about half, so you're only using about half of an arm's width of material there. Okay, and as I said, the door spring is cut to 2 inches exactly. Now the PVC pipe, it's 2.5 inches long. Cut it down to 2.5 inches. Do the glue up where you would put the primer on it, and then you put the glue itself on, and you have to do it on both pieces. So you have to do it on this part here, and then you have to do it on there and then push it together, and it'll let it dry, and it dries really fast, and it'll be all good for you to use. Okay, since I've already cut the cords and I've already used my lighter to melt them off, I'm going to put this to the side. I'm just reviewing in case you didn't view my videos on the basics here. And when you cut the spring, you need to cut it with the end nippers or whatever. Okay, so we're going to get started here. Taking our fall line, and this is a little bit different because normally I would work from this end going this way. Okay, so but today's tutorial we're working the opposite direction. We're going from the handle outward because of the fact it's less space involved in here. So it's formed a little bit differently. Now, taking your fall cord, make a loop right here, and then just make a knot. So you'll have a little loop, and it's not that easy to make it when it's small like this. But okay, so you want to make a loop like so. Pull it tight. Okay, so you've got this right here. Okay, loop the tied off knot. Now, taking your paracord, bring it up together like this. Take the ends and run the ends through that loop you just made on your fall line. So you'll have this. Now, loop it through itself so it'll go like this. Okay, and this is going to be your start off bundle for the putting around the keychain. Okay, so you're going to have the paracord loop through that loop you just made. Now, taking your paracord again, and with the ends like this, take it like this, and we're going to create a knot bundle here. Alright, so we're looping it through the keychain, like so. Now we're going to loop it through itself, like this. So it'll be looped onto the keychain, like so, with the fall line below it. Pull it tight. Now we're going to tie this off to make a knot. So we have to bring it up around the top of where this fall line is hooked off at, and then loop it under itself like this in order to make a knot bundle. Okay, so we're going like this, and we're creating a knot from the base up. Alright, so it's coming like this. Alright, so you'll have it looped around the keychain, and then you have the fall line looped in place. Okay, now pull the fall line down even a little bit, as much as you can. Okay, now taking this, we're going to run this through the PVC that we've already glued. Again, already glued, so we're bringing all the lines through here like this. So this is going to fit into the handle like this once you pull it through. Now, again, using the traditional method of knotting it around like we did with the regular whips. Knot it on the base here, and then work the knot up to create this tight knot so it'll fit into the base unit itself. Okay, so work it around, pull it tight, and when you get to there, you'll have it like this. Okay, so you'll have this going into this, going to the fall line, etc. Like you would. Like I said, we're going micro here. Now, on your fall line, make the usual knot on the fall line like you would for the big whip. Alright, and we only have to cover a space of about 1 inch. So that's where you're going to make your first knot, as opposed to 3 inches. So like I said, the size is being cut back, and as are the lengths. So we're only doing a 1 inch space before we put the spring on. Okay, so approximately 1 inch. Now run this through the spring like you would the big whip, like so. Make a knot again below the spring like you would in the big whip. Okay, so we got the knot, so we got that like this, and there's that. Okay, now we're going to start weaving it like we did with the big whip, doing the series of X's like we're doing with the big whips. Okay, so we're going under, and again, try to get the spring when you get to it, and this shouldn't take long at all to weave, because there's only a little bit of weaving involved in this. Try to get that to be on top, like so, and then encapsulate the spring, like so. Just making the series of X's again, and just weaving this over like this. When I get to that end knot there, oops, paracord slipping here. Hold on. All right, and just go around it, making the X's, and keep weaving it on down. Now this here is a very fast to make, although the big whips only take about 15 minutes to make for the standard size, which I've did the videos of so far, but this one here, you can see I'm almost already done with it. This again is just a micro whip. And I'm already to the end of it here, and I'm going to have to clip it off in a minute, and then finish the tail. So again, we're mimicking a bigger one, but the dimensions are smaller. Okay, so now in our fall line here, we need to make the knot like we did before, and this time you only need to really do 1 knot in it. You don't really need 2 for this one because the size is so small. And again, the force is reduced, so you don't have to have a lot of force involved in that. And as before, we're going to have our tie-off line. This is the time it's only 12 inches as opposed to the 52 inch. And going again below that first knot that's behind the spring, open it up, pull the loop up, down like that. And this one's a little bit harder to get the loop to go through because of the fact that it's so tiny. Alright, and then we again tie that off below that right there. So we made the loops, looped it through, and we're tying it off. Okay. Now again, we're just going to weave this over with a series of X's until we get to the handle part. Which is pretty easy to do considering how short it is right there. And then we tie that off like so, tying it tight. Okay, and now with the little extra, we again tuck it in place, and there's not much to tuck in there because of the fact that it's so tiny. There, and you don't really have to worry about it too much. Alright, so it's almost finished. Now we got to just do the wrap here to finish this little handle section off. So we take our tape, electrical tape, and we go around like so, just a couple of times around. And again, put about 3 wraps right in that transitional section before you move on. Some wrapping, and then just come back again, right into that section right there. And just one more time going the other way. Okay. Now, getting back to the end piece here, we're almost finished with it, and you see how it doesn't take long at all, hardly. Alright, so now we have to tie off this end piece, and taking your craft cord, like you did with the bigger whip, just go around the whip and make a loop. So it's going around that top part here, and we just have to tie this end part off. And if you want to make the tail, the fall just a couple inches longer, you can. But it depends upon what size keychain you want, because it'll hang down a little lower if you do. But you could go like maybe 6-7 inches longer if you want to, and it'll still work. But you don't want to go too much more than that, otherwise the weight will start not making it so it won't want to whip properly. Alright, so now again we wrap it, and we again wrap it like we did with the big whip. So we're tying the ends off, tying these end lines off. Okay, now we go again like we did on the big whip, flip it over and tie it off on the bottom. Okay, and we can take the clip off. Now, if you want the slightly louder pop, you would go twice around, going in each direction. Oops, slipped off here. Twice around this way, and bring it down to the base, and then tie it off there, like you did with the big bullwhip. Okay, and then continue wrapping it. And tie it off on the top. 3 times on the top again. And then just with whatever you have left, just a couple more wraps going around, and then tie it off on the bottom again. Okay, there you go. And now we're going to cut off that little end. And because there's not a lot of force on this one, again, it is safe to use on a person, because it's not very heavy. It's not a lot of force. And you really don't have to tie this off with put electrical tape on this, because again, it's so little force that it's not going to necessarily need it. Now we have to make the cracker like we did with the big whip. So I'm going to reposition this here so you can see this what I'm doing. Alright. And so like we did with the big whip cracker line, just take your line, and again this is reduced from, it's only 1 arm's length as opposed to an arm length and a half, because the weight, you don't need a lot of extra weight on it, and you don't need to have the increase in the weight. But again, I take the carabiner clip and put the carabiner clip on the end like I did with the big one, like so. So you have that on there after you made the loop, tied it off, okay? So it got the carabiner clip hanging off there like that. And again, you could, if you want to do it on a drill or whatever, you could do that, but I just do it like this, and you just twirl it like I did. Sorry, man, I'm trying to get the camera angle right here. And again, you just twirl it over a hook with your fingers, or you could use the drill method if you want, however you want to do it. And because this is a small whip, is going a lot faster. Okay, and then again we hook it up at the top, right behind that where it's hooked on, and pull it off like we did with the big one. So we'll have that, and again we just have to reverse it over, flip it over, and then release the carabiner clip so it'll spin. Alright, now we just tighten that up. And make the first knot in it. Like so. So now we can take that off our fingers, so you have that. We still have the carabiner clip on there. I haven't taken that off yet. Okay. Now, getting back to this. Again, you have to do a few knots in the cracker line. One more should do it. I'm putting this final knot right below that one I just made. Bring it up here just a little bit. Alright. And then pull it tight. Alright. And now we can cut off our carabiner. Cut off the end part where our carabiner is knotted off on it. Trim it just a little bit because it's a little long. Alright. And so now we have our cracker line. Alright, so that's for the cracker. Again, you can flip it out, you fluff it out or not. It'll still do what it's supposed to do. It'll fluff itself out if you don't want to fluff it out. Then just loop it through itself like that. And again, because this is so small, you're only going to do this once. You don't have to do it the second time around the other part. You know, like normally you would have 2 knots here. But because this is so small, we only have 1 knot in the fall line, so you only have to loop once. And then you take your electrical tape and then just go right around that section there. So you Be sure to just cover that end knot on the fall line, and then just cover the cracker just a tiny bit. All right. And again, not a lot of force involved in this, so you don't need to do it a whole lot of wraps on it. Okay. So now we have a finished bullwhip keychain. And again, you want to stretch it out just a little bit prior to use. So just pull on it just a little bit. You can't put it around your back because it's too tiny, so you're not going to be able to stretch it out that way. So you just have to pull it with your hand a little bit. So you got your finished bullwhip micro keychain, and I will show you how it works. Show you it in action here. All right, hold on. Position the camera so you can see it. Alright, so your micro bullwhip keychain, and you can hear the snap. And again, because there's not a lot of force, you could, use it in dungeon sessions or bedroom play. There's not too much force in there, so you'll feel it. I mean, it stings a little bit, but it's not going to do major damage here. And as a bonus, if you want to be fashionably trendy for your BDSM play or whatever, or if you just want to make a statement saying that you're into whips or BDSM play or whatever, and you could wear this out, and you could attach it to by clipping it on the back of your belt loop on your pants. You could have a nice little tail for anime, or again make a fashion statement or let people know that you're secretly into it, and you could have a nice little tail for yourself. Or if you want to fashionably, again, you could put it on the side here, so you could wear it on your side of your pants or whatever, or you could even clip it because it's small enough. You could clip it onto a collar for yourself, and take it off when you wanted to. Or, again, because it does have the clip on there and is technically a keychain size, you can put your keys on it, and then put your keys in your pocket, and have it in your pocket, if you want. And it's small enough that it's portable. It's very portable. You could take it around with you, put it in a pocket, put it in your jacket pocket, your pants pocket, put it in a purse. And you can hear it, even at this size, it still snaps. And I hope you like that. That's the micro bullwhip keychain. I hope you enjoyed the video. But before I go, one last little note. Now, if you want to go different sizes, you have to adjust the spring size and you have to adjust the rope size. Like for something that's this small, you cannot go with the larger size cords. For the 6 foot to 8 foot, or to about 12 feet, I think. Because the biggest I've made is 12 feet so far, and that uses a full spring. After you get bigger than that, you'll probably have to go with a thicker spring and thicker rope to support the weight of it. And also, you would have to increase your spring size. So if you use a full spring at 12 feet, you'll have to use about another half of a spring for every additional, say, probably 4 feet or more. For every additional feet, you'll have to increase the spring. Now, this is the smallest size whip I've made so far, so I'll let you know if there's anything that if I can get it any smaller, possibly. Maybe I'll do a whip tutorial on that. But for now, that's the tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.